Okay, I'm standing here with Jon Normile and Bill Reith, and of course Jon started with Bill. So tell me guys, how did you end up finding him to get started in fencing?
Well, I started fencing because I wasn't really athletic enough for any other sport. That's the sad truth. And fencing wasn't as popular back then in the early 80s as it is now. So you could start fencing and you could be pretty good, pretty quick. Especially if you had a good coach like Bill.
How did you find Bill?
In the yellow pages.
In the yellow page.
Under fencing instruction. There was an old commercial for the yellow pages, and they had a joke with two cowboys building a fence, and one was telling the other one how to do it, and the joke was, "This is fencing instruction." That's exactly what I looked up in the yellow pages.
Excellent. And did you find, how did you know how hard to push him when you were coaching him?
We pushed him so hard it was unbelievable. We made fun of him. Jon came in. He had a little instruction with Kadar on the west side, and he was kind of an old Hungarian, you know. And Jon came in. He was very angular in all his movements because he was doing a little saber, and it took him a while to find his flow, but. Yeah, we worked with him, and then when Jon went to Columbia, nobody worked harder than Jon. Jon worked tremendously on his footwork, on his own, and with Kogler, and his technique, and he's smarter than a whip. He's much smarter than he looks. And but his technique is the best technique you've ever seen, and he knows how to put it together and make it happen on the strip. And then watching Jon has always been a dream. And I remember must have been 1988, he won the NCAAs, he won the junior national championships, and then he beat Steve Trevor in the finals of the national championship.
And Steve Trevor is of course your student also.
Yeah.
And so tell me, Jon, looking back at all these titles and the AC, all the AC titles, do you have any particular moments that stick out for you at this point?
No, I don't have individual bouts or individual matches, but I've enjoyed my fencing career very much, and I've enjoyed how it's evolved. And particularly this last phase of it, where I'm a lot older now, so I'm not nearly as quick as I used to be. But because of that limitation now, I have to explore other parts of the sport, other ways to solve the fencing problem. And that's really a lot of fun. That's what makes it very enjoyable.
And what specifically have you done differently now in your fencing? What do you do differently?
Well, I'm much more patient, and I've come to the realization that you really don't need to do anything on the strip if your opponent's going to make a mistake. When I was younger, I see videos of myself, and it's pretty clear that I was very impetuous and impatient and pushing and pushing and pushing. I could get away with it because I was quick enough, and I don't do that anymore. So tactically, if you particularly in epee, you have the opportunity to wait for your opponent to make a mistake, and then you can take advantage of it. And then you can try and construct the match so that you make him make a mistake. And that's what makes it a lot of fun.
And how much work did you put in? Did you realize the footwork was so important? Or did Bill just hammer you? How much work did you actually put on your feet?
A lot. And
give me an idea of the time you put into it.
Every practice at the club, at least half an hour, about 4 exercises. I would do a lot at home too. I would do a lot at home, doing footwork in my room or in the hallway. In the gym, I would do it. And that really is the foundation of fencing, of good fencing. You have to position yourself in relation to your opponent to score the touch. And if you can do that, then everything is easy. And the hand is
the hand will take care of itself, but the feet you have to make do.
And Bill, how did you end up? You have such an incredible record between Jon and I mean, Steve Trevor, Wilbur Wheeler,
Ben Solomon.
all these guys. Yeah, now, Wilbur Wheeler. How did you find Wilbur Wheeler?
Wilbur was in a school program when he was in elementary school, and I was
And
teaching.
who was you were teaching it?
Yeah, we did. There was pottery classes, and photography, and fencing, and something else, and they would go through a rotation.
How old was he?
He was 10 years old, and you know, Wilbur was one of those individuals that when you showed him something, he got it and he kept it forever. So he just built and built and built and built. And he was just an incredible athlete, you know, and small in statures, you know, but just, you know, dynamite comes in small packages, and he was the epitome of that. And I just took him under my wing. You know, he lived with his aunt, you know, and I took him to all the practices with me, and he helped me with the footwork drills with the kids, and he did the footwork himself. So he was fencing 4 to 5 days a week when he got started, and you know, he was like my adopted son, and
That's fabulous.
and he just loved it and excelled at it, and was just the finest foil fencer you ever saw. You know.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Bill Reith and Jon Normile, thank you very much, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
Thank you.